Hey family, what's good? This is your girl, I'm the Bronze Goddess, and I'm actually here today to talk to you guys a little bit about how to write your first book and also give you some of my tips and tricks for how to self-publish. In case you're new to my channel, you may not know this, but in October of last year, I released my very first book, which is called The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. It's on CreateSpace, on Amazon, and also now available in Kindle format. And this is actually one of the most proud moments of my entire life. I felt like there's always been a fear that I couldn't write this book because I knew that I was a charismatic speaker, but I wasn't sure if I had what it took to actually write my thoughts down. And for me to be able to do this is a tremendous sense of accomplishment for me. So I'm very, very proud of this book right here. If you are somebody who is an aspiring writer and you are writing your very first novel or your very first book or whatever, you need to utilize every free available resource to you, whether that's a website, an app, whatever it is. One of which I can recommend is called Scrawl. Scrawl is a great place for you to have your information read. If you want to get some feedback or you want people to vote on certain things, it's a great way for you to be interactive with people who could possibly be reading your book. You can, for example, you can like submit the first chapter and get some feedback, and they'll tell you honestly. They'll say, you know what? This sounds more like a science fiction book than a romance novel, or I feel like you're taking way too long to develop the heroine in the story, or the heroine is not very likable. I don't see me rooting for her to win in the end, or whatever there it is that they want to say. You'll get honest feedback. It can even help you to grow your fan base, for example. You could say, somebody could read your first chapter and say, this sounds amazing. Like, when you write your book, let me know. I'll be the first one to buy it. Or you can collaborate with other writers. You can have them vote. You can say, you know what? I have 2 ideas for a first chapter, this and this. Let me know which one you like best. So it's depending on things like that. So if you guys want to find out more about Scrawl, then I'll be sure to link them below. It's a great website for those of you who are an aspiring writer, especially if you're into like fiction and things like that. But they even do like scripts and things like that. So if you're interested in trying to write a play or write a movie and you want to get some feedback, you can just put bits and pieces of it on there and let people tell you what they think of it. So when I knew that I was writing my first book, I wanted to go to my own personal resource, my favorite resource, which was my dad. So I went to my dad, who was also an author, and I asked him, what advice would he give me for writing my first book? And believe it or not, what he told me was super duper simple. He said, just start. There are so many people that say they want to write a book and they never do it. They never even take the time to put pen to pad to even write a title. He said, you start with the title, then your name, and you go from there. And he said, don't worry about writing the whole book in one sitting. Just write a little bit at a time whenever you're inspired, and then you piece everything together in the end. I listened to that advice. So I started off, and I'm going to give you guys kind of an idea of how you can do this. Say, for example, you know that you love, love, love shoes. You have a passion for shoes. So you're going to name your book something like, these shoes were made for walking. And then you always have to have a subtitle. Subtitles are very important because they give people an idea of what the book is about without actually having read the book in its entirety. I just recently read a book called Eat the Biggest Frog First, or Eat the Large Frog First. It wasn't about frogs. It was actually about prioritizing and how you should do the most important thing first. But with a name like that, and a title like that, you would never know that. So always make sure that you follow up with a very clear and concise subtitle that gives people an idea of what the book is about. So like I said, this subtitle could be how the right pair of shoes can take you anywhere. Okay? And then, for example, you say, okay, I also want to dedicate this book. You can make a dedication. You can say, okay, I want to dedicate this book to my mother that gave me my very first pair of heels. Those heels made me feel like a princess, and I feel like every woman should, and that's why I wanted to write this book. Something simple like that. And then, of course, you want to write the different key points that you want to make your book about. Now, this could be like an outline, but it can also end up being your table of contents. You can say, okay, I want to write how the right shoes for a cocktail party, how the right flats that if you're a big heel lover, or how to wear heels, how to walk a long time in heels, whatever it is that you want to write about. So you definitely want to have an idea of different things that you want to talk about. Make those bullet points for now, but they will eventually be different chapters in your book. And then as you are inspired, you will add to those chapters. Now for me, writing the book was really about me being inspired. Somebody asked me how long it took. I'm not really sure exactly how long because I've been writing bits and pieces of it for quite a while. I had been doing love and relationship videos on my channel for years, and I was starting to get frustrated. I was feeling like I was giving out medication and not a cure. People were coming to me after they had already wasted 6 and 7 years with a guy that never treated them right, or after they've already had kids with this guy that's been abusing them. And I felt like I was getting to people too late. And I wanted to write this book that would help you before you got into those bad relationships relationships. I wanted you to know the difference between deal breakers and flaws, how to build your self-esteem, how to know your own worth, how to know if he's into you. I wanted to tell you, I wanted to have those things in place before you got into these bad relationships. And the book that I'm currently writing is for those who are already in relationships, and it's going to be talking about a myriad of different things, like how to decode his mixed signals, how to know if he's relationship ready, the types of men to avoid, how to become the ultimate woman. Girl, this next book is a doozy. It's picking up exactly where this book left off. There's so many things to consider. Like, writing the book is so many details. Actually taking the time to write the book is one thing, but when you're becoming an author, there's so many other things to consider. Did I want it to be matte? Did I want it to be glossy? Did I want it to be this size or bigger? Did I want it to be hard copy or soft copy? Did I want it to be the font, the text? Did I want it to be in Times New Roman print? Did I want it to be in Georgia print? There are so many details, but don't get overwhelmed by the details. If I learned anything from the book that I recently read, Eat the Big Frog First or The Large Frog First, it's about just doing the big thing first. And what that is write the book first, and then you just kind of take everything a little step at a time. For me, when I knew that I wanted to publish the book, I definitely wanted to go the self-publishing route because I didn't want to sit around and wait for somebody to give me an opportunity. That's not how I live my life. You guys already know that. And so for me, I said, okay, publishing houses are becoming more and more obsolete. Who are the best self-publishers in the game? And it was between Lulus.com and CreateSpace.com. I ended up going with CreateSpace because they gave me a bigger percentage as far as royalties are concerned, and also I like the fact that it was so easy for me to go from CreateSpace to Amazon and so many other things. They were also connected to Kindle, and it just seemed a lot neater. Now, it depends on what you want to do. If you go through CreateSpace, you can spend so little to get your book out. Like I cannot recommend them enough. Now, you get your own editor, or you edit your book yourself. You get your title. You can do, I think they have like different ways where you can create your own cover. You can do your cover on there or whatever, or you can design your own cover. You can just make it words. You don't have to put a picture or an illustration or whatever you want to do on there. But all I really paid for the CreateSpace process was getting my proofs. Your proofs are literally a couple bucks. A couple of dollars, like $2 or $3. That's how much my proofs were, like $2 or $3 to get a proof, and I had to kind of send those back and forth because I was editing everything. I thought I was too close. I thought my little image of myself was too close to the edge one time. I didn't like the font one time. I didn't like this or that. I kind of sent it back and forth until I was happy with it, and once I was actually happy with it, then I said, okay. I decided to let my book go live on my anniversary so that I would never forget that date, so I let it go live on October the 9th. At that time, they told me that it would take several hours for my book to be available on Amazon. Within an hour of me saying, I'm happy with this book, you can print it, it was on Amazon and people were buying it. People were buying it like instantly. I made the video and people it started moving. And we cracked the top 20, which was awesome. We cracked the top 20 with all the books that are out there. Millions of books. We cracked the top 20. So that's something I was really proud of as well. I definitely suggest that you promote it. You can promote it so many different ways. You can do giveaways. You can, of course, promote it on your YouTube channel if you are a fellow YouTuber, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter. You can have a little event. You can have a book signing. You can have a book reading. You could meet at some place like in the park or whatever you want to go, and you could read a chapter of the book or something like that. But I definitely suggest that you promote the book. The only thing about self-publishing is it's on you to promote your book. Now, the pros are that it's a lot less expensive. You have a lot of control. Nobody told me that I couldn't do anything. The title, the font, what I said, it's all me. And I really love that 100% freedom of the project. I also love the fact that they took care of everything. Like this is one of my copies that I bought, but they take care of everything. Somebody buys my book on Amazon, they ship it to wherever it is you live. Australia, Canada, UK, they take care of that. And also with it being on Kindle, like I'm not touching any of that. I like the fact that they handle it all. And I like the fact that it's in a huge, like Amazon is like a huge bookstore. For it to be on Amazon, it like legitimizes the books. Not like sold out of the trunk of my car or anything like that, but it's like legit. You know, it's on Kindle with other books. It's right next to Oprah's book and right next to, you know, whoever's book, you know. So I'm really excited about that, having the book feel like it's legit, you know, not so much like a homemade project or anything like that. I think you get a decent amount of royalties and no real cost up front. Alright, so that is pretty much it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have additional questions that I did not cover in this video, be sure to leave it in the comment section, and if I get enough comments, then I will make a follow-up video in case you guys want that. And also, if you guys want to find out more about Scrawl, I'll be sure to link them below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, later divas and dudes, deuces honey.